to another edition of Writings from the Hills. Today we're actually going to be covering or reading a selection from Fractured Truth by Susan Furlong. And I actually read this book myself. It's part of a series. And the series follows a ex-Marine, Bryn Callahan. She is actually a member of the traveler community, or gypsies as we call them. And they live in Bone Gap, Tennessee. And these are a murder mystery series, and a special thank you should be given to Kensington Books, publishers who actually gave us permission to use the book for our program. And I'm going to read from chapter 1. I blinked, shook my head, and blinked again. Either I'd had too much whiskey, or a headless chicken had hung before me. My eyes skimmed the skeletal trees' branches bent with the weight of not just one, but several shriveled carcasses, their squatty legs tethered together, claws curled under, white wings limp and sprayed outward like the mangled helicopter blades I witnessed in Iraq combat zones. Underneath each, blood pitted the white snow, pulling in spots and seeping outward into the spidery pink veins. This sight would be sober to anyone. Sick, I said, not that my dog could hear me. Both maimed and rendered deaf by an IED. Wilco relied solely on his eyes and nose. Right now his nose flared and twitched as he strained against his lead. Wilco was a human remains detection canine, and he had no interest in dead chickens. That meant one thing: he had found the scent line to a dead body. My insides rolled with dread as I took a deep breath and brought the radio to my mouth. I think we've got the location. Take the north branch until you see the first fork. Go left and continue about a quarter of a mile. You should see my tracks leaving the trail. I'm on the ridge east of the Higgins Falls. As I spoke, the nylon cord of Wilco's lead pulled taut and bent into my other palm. I pocketed my radio and focused on my dog. He lifted his black snout to fill his lungs with tainted air as he tottered on 3 legs, no longer letting his injury hold him back. Wish I could say the same. I rotated my left shoulder, and the burn scars that marred half my body pulled the skin tight. But those scars I could hide. Others weren't so easy. Wilco let loose a low and mournful whine. Hold on, boy. I leaned down and gave him a pat. He shook with an excited anticipation of a successful find. The 911 call had come in a couple hours ago, and a cross-country skier found a mutilated female body in a small cave off the trail. He was too repulsed to give much more information, not even the exact location. And hundreds of small caves dotted the rocky ridges along this branch of the Appalachian Trail. So Wilco and I were immediately dispatched for search and recovery. Not many could stomach unearthing stiff and bloodied cadavers, but thanks to Uncle Sam, I had been conditioned for this type of work. Back in the war, at the height of combat, there was a great need for the cleanup crew, or bone patrol, or whatever lingo they brought up at the time. And we took that need seriously, doing what we could to find our soldiers, no matter how ugly it got. And it was always ugly. Extreme desert heat quickly transformed dead bodies into swollen, stinking carrion. Now, in a true glutton for punishment fashion, I signed up for doing that task again. This is my first homicide since taking the oath as one of McCreary County's finest 3 months ago. Backtracking a little, I secured Wilco's leash to a tree, double-checking a couple of times to make sure he wouldn't get loose. He immediately began working himself into a frenzy, turning around and around, his nose low to the ground at first, then raising upward, high into the air as if he was scooping up the scent. It felt almost cruel to hold him back from his quarry, not allowing him to achieve his ultimate goal of locating and alerting me to the dead body. But in the military, we knew the cause of death: bombs, bullets, rockets, and shrapnel. And we knew the source: the enemy. Here we didn't know, and I couldn't risk Wilco's disturbing evidence. Sorry, boy. I ran my hand down the long side of his back, and then stood and pulled up the collar of my parka, tucking my chin against the wind. The night before, a freak weather pattern blew in from the northwest, bringing several inches of fresh snow, and it was still coming down in spurts, and the elongated ski grooves left over from the cross-country trekker were already partially covered. I scanned the forest floor around me. No other tracks. A couple minutes later, Sheriff Pusser plowed down the trail in the lead of the rest of his team. At 6 feet plus, an extra 20 pounds or so around his midsection, and a booming voice to match. Stealthy would never describe my boss. He broke into the clearing with Officer Harrison Parks and a handful of crime scene techs, motioned for them to stay back while he approached me. He stopped about 5 yards away and raised his eyes. What the hell? Are those? Yep. Chickens. His face grew ashen, making its pockmarks more pronounced. And after a couple beats, I cleared my throat. You okay, boss? He swiped his upper lip and slid his eyes my way. I've got a bad feeling about this one. If you would like to read more from Fractured Truth by Susan Furlong, you can check it out by going to our website at www.briggslibrary.com. And please like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, a special thanks to Kensington Publishers for allowing us to use the book for our program. Thank you.